You're listening to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Patient Partner Show. We're a podcast on Spreaker, so look us up. We are distributed on Spreaker platforms, Deezer, iHeart, all those kind of things. Look us up there. Jeannie, we are talking today about a serious subject. It also has the connotations of what you and I have talked about so many times on these podcasts, and this is all sadly together in one lump sum on how 2,500 female patients were sexually assaulted by their OB/GYN doctor in Fort Hood and also in Tripler Army Base in Hawaii. And you think that there's a third base. That I'm not familiar with what the name of that is, by the doctor that was videotaping with his phone in his shirt pocket the private parts, the private area of these female patients. And the things that you and I have talked about, Jeannie, in relation to these kind of sexual assaults is, why are phones allowed, personal phones allowed in these exam rooms and these OR rooms? That's number one.
Right.
Number two, this doctor insisted that a person not accompany that patient in the exam, in the procedure, which we always say, definitely bring somebody with you. We're fighting even to get people that you can hire into operating rooms if we can ever get that out there on the horizon. And also, if you know it happened to you, like this one lady in the article that we both read knew that something happened and tried to get something done, was literally, as the article reads, out in the hallway crying because she knew this was happening and that he was videotaping her private parts, and they handed her a phone number. Does this sound familiar? And here you go, lady, this is what we're going to give for you, because that didn't really happen, but here's a number to call if you think it did. And the fourth thing is the nurses knew. And that was all on the article. Yeah. This is all coming out now. So does this stuff sound eerily familiar to you, Jeannie? Because it did me, and I was sick when I read it, absolutely sick. And I can't believe how long it's been going on, that there were 2,500 women that are accosted, that nurses knew, and nothing gets done. Nothing for all these years. Yeah. And what did he do with the videotapes? Because he's been videotaping before phones, actually, these kind of new smartphones that we have are capable of doing all kinds of things like that. Years ago, what would it have been used, and where are those tapes, those videotapes now? What was the purpose of doing all this?
And we've talked about before, there are also things like Google Glasses. There's things like that can do videotaping. So it's just not phones, but there are other ways of taping. There are the little mini cameras, hidden cameras that can be put into an exam room. I know that some doctors say that exams may be videotaped, but I don't think that's good enough, because if you miss that little sign, you might not know.
Yeah.
I just think that if you're in a state of compromise, undressed, that it should, if anything is being videotaped for medical purposes, you should be made explicitly aware and sign that, yes, you're fine with that. Of course, this doctor, he was doing this for his own pleasure, but you and I, Cindy, we've talked before about how nurses, doctors, anyone in charge of patient care should not have their personal devices on them at all, because there's always that temptation to record something strange or funny and show it to other people. And I won't back down from this. They should not have their personal devices on them.
No, I mean, that whole thing is, even to say that, there's the temptation, that's just ludicrous. In the medical field, there shouldn't be a temptation about that at all. And sadly, the patient Jane Doe, who came forward with this, husband was in the room. How he was allowed to go in there, I didn't really get the gist of that, which it doesn't matter. Thank God he was there and saw it happening. He was supposedly standing behind the doctor, and saw the camera on, videotaping with, the red light or whatever it is on, with the lens peeking out of his shirt pocket, the doctor's shirt pocket. So he put his own phone in the shirt, turned on the video. There's the lens hanging out of the shirt pocket, looking at the private parts of this guy's wife.
Yeah. And I also read, Cindy, that one of the alleged victims was a victim of rape.
Okay.
And because he did the exam inappropriately, her rapist got off. Another one was a woman who had had a miscarriage, and he was violating her. Can you imagine?
No.
I mean, just how low down that would be to have that done to you. Oh my goodness, I can't. I mean, this is all alleged.
It's all alleged. It is. It's all alleged, but
I can't imagine the raw pain that would cause, in addition to having lost a baby or having been raped.
Right.
And then to be raped again.
I consider that worse. I consider this worse. It's just an unreal violation. And in my case, nurses knew. In your case, nurses knew. Yep. Nurses were involved in it. Yep. Mine the same way. And from what I understand from mine, again, we can't talk about the facilities or the doctors or anything like that. But from the person that was involved in investigating my case, that person said that those people were told, you'll never work again if you talk. So that's what happened with mine. I know it for a fact.
Yeah.
So what happens with this? Is that what happened with all these years? All these years. 2,500 people. And there's more than that. There's more than
these
that.
These are just the ones that contacted to see. Right now, I think it said there's like 61 specifications filed under military law, including 54 counts of indecent visual recording and 5 counts of conduct unbecoming an officer. I think there should be more than that. I think that it's sexual assault. I think that there needs to be other charges in there. It's my opinion.
Yeah, because the scapegoat of this, from what we've heard from different people that we've talked with, detectives, police people, their hands are tied. There's not laws against this. And we've said this umpteen times, if you roofie somebody in a bar and do something like this, it's a criminal offense. And
you roofie somebody in the hospital, it's part of a medical procedure.
Yeah, well, that's the way what we're finding this stuff out. I mean, it's beyond comprehension. It is beyond comprehension, and that this hasn't been caught, and what is going to be the stipulations. And also because it happened in an Army facility, so how is that going to actually play out? Are we going to know what the justifications are for these women or whatever? Or is it going to get just kind of like, well, this is Army law and this is that, and, you're not privileged to hear any of this stuff, us being the people, the citizens of the country. This isn't a criminal case. This is going to be a court-martial. It's going to be, we take care of our own kind of a thing. And holy Toledo.
Yeah, I mean, it just never quits, Cindy.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Every day you can find probably a new story of medical sexual abuse, assault. It just never stops, never.
It doesn't stop. And why does it keep going on? What are the... so many people have said to me, talking, because we talk to people all the time, you and me, Jeannie. Do you want legislation to get involved? What do you people want? Blah, 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 blah. I don't necessarily want more rules and laws and whatever, but something has to be done. I mean, this is a trust factor here. So obviously you can't trust a lot of this stuff. People are up in arms in different places. Oh, doctors shouldn't have to jump through this and do that, and nurses shouldn't do that and do this. Well, look at all these stories. They're valid. People aren't, 2,500 people plus are not making this up.
Well, for me, it comes down back to a couple things. One, a lot of medical people, not all, but a lot, see patients as objects that they can do with whatever they please. And part of this is the unnecessary nudity that is done during patient care, because you and I both know, Cindy, that there are many times that patients are stripped, left left stripped, and people come and go, and they just think of it as part of normal medical care, and they don't look twice thinking about, well, that person shouldn't be naked. That to me is what it is all about.
Yep. On that note, stay listening to Evergreen Media Network.